Hi and welcome. My name is Marilie Schleppi and this is the last video of a series of video about positive disintegration. In this video I'm going to recap what we've seen in the previous videos, but also I'm going to tell you my own opinion about why is it that positive disintegration should be better known and how useful it can be to you and So, in summary of what we've seen in the past videos is that Dabrowski considered personality development to occur through a process of disintegration, and he said it's more likely to happen if there's three factors in play, one of which is the genetic factor, another one which is the environmental factor, which for example is the environment you find yourself in, and then the third factor, which is your inner thirst for going further and develop yourself. These are the three factors. We also talked about the different levels, and unlike other theories, the levels in the theory of positive disintegration are not sequential. It just says that whenever you find yourself at one level, it gives you clues as to how you might transition into a different level. And we found that there was 5 levels in this theory, and that basically the one that is most maybe interesting or helpful is the level 3, which is the level at which somebody disintegrates and has a series of behaviors and feelings that accompany this disintegration, and that it's a positive thing if the person can be accompanied through this journey and go beyond disintegration and reintegrate at level 4. And those feelings and processes that accompany these changes of levels are called dynamisms. And we've seen how they basically give you clues as to where a person might be at. And that is the wrap-up of the summary of the theory of positive disintegration. Now let's talk about why it is useful and its relevance. So why is this theory of positive disintegration interesting and maybe helpful? I'll give you my take on that. First of all, Dabrowski was really unique in his approach to mental health, and his theory sheds a positive light on some symptoms that are otherwise considered quite negative. He came to this theory because he reflected upon the fact that in actual fact, just getting older or being smarter doesn't make you a better person, a more developed, rounded, wise person. And I think that is a very relevant question. We know plenty of people who are intelligent and who are old, and they're far from being kind, helpful, wise, and developed. So I think that's the first thing that we can pay attention to is maybe a theory that helps us understand that. He studied under Piaget in Geneva for his PhD, and he was a Polish national who subsequently migrated to Canada, and he spent most of his career writing his work about positive disintegration in Canada and in English. There's actually a book from 1964 called Positive Disintegration that I really recommend you read if you have an interest in the topic, and the reference for this can be found on a site that has been set up by one of his students, Ben Tillier, and the site is called positivedisintegration.com, and on that site you will find a wealth of information about Dabrowski and his theory of positive disintegration. He was also a contemporary of Maslow. You might have heard of the pyramid of needs from Maslow. The levels of Dabrowski and the pyramid of needs of Maslow have been compared by scholars. They cannot really be compared one-to-one. They're completely different theories. But there has been a lot of exchange between the two scholars, and again on the website positivedisintegration.com we will find a lot of information about how these theories compare and contrast. Now I'm going to tell you what I think is the key strength of the theory. So my own personal opinion of this theory is that it was basically groundbreaking. It arose in the 60s through this book that Dabrowski wrote, but he had the theory in his head well before that. And it basically sheds a positive light on symptoms such as anxiety and depression. And we might be getting more used to this stream of psychology called positive psychology, studying why people are happy. But back then, it was really not the case. And his opinion that anxiety and depression are signs of disintegration that actually allow the person to reach a different level, a better, more integrated level for themselves, was basically outstanding. And I still believe that today, people who interact with people who have anxiety and depression, or people who are experiencing those symptoms, can benefit from learning about this theory. So I would like to invite you to go more into this subject if you found it interesting. And if you'd like to read a synopsis about it, you can always go and read my article that's in Frontiers in Psychology. It's like a very quick summary of the theory and the different levels and different components of the theory. I hope that you've enjoyed this series of videos. This is the last one, and I'd like to wish you good luck, and would love to see this theory spread out in the world, so you might like to be an ambassador for that. Bye.